Hi, all. I want to make you aware of an active manhunt in Dover, Florida, for a father who police say brutally murdered his young child and the child's mother at their home on Sumner Road around 3:30 p.m. on April 24th of 2024. Hillsborough Sheriff Chad Chronister held a press conference describing the gruesome scene found at the home and telling the suspect Angel Kuzchak to turn himself in because there's nowhere he can hide that they won't find him. He's also asking residents in the area to stay in their homes and lock their doors because the suspect is dangerous and may be hiding in the area. Sheriff Chronister said Kuzchak's deceased child is only around 4 or 5 years old, and his child's mother tried to escape his attack in their home, but was found in a pool of blood in his backyard.
We come on the air tonight. We're tracking breaking news out of Hillsborough County. The sheriff speaking within the past hour, delivering this startling message.
Taken back by the level of pure evil that has transpired when our suspect brutally murdered an innocent woman and a young child.
Right now, deputies are on scene investigating the double murder at a home on Sumner Road in Dover.
Neighbors in the area are asked to lock their doors and stay inside tonight. This is deputy search for the man on your screen who they believe killed his partner and their young daughter.
10 Tampa Bay's Miranda Parnell is live on scene right now. Miranda, just a short time ago, the sheriff described a gruesome scene.
That's right, Dave. The sheriff was almost taken aback, he said, when he was describing what deputies saw when they arrived here. He says this is a case of a mother and child beaten to death. And now 31-year-old Angel Kuzchak is on the run. We have his picture up here for you now so you know who to look out for. Now, the sheriff says the mother tried desperately to survive, and a neighbor even heard screams this afternoon. But the sheriff says that neighbor didn't call 911 because it wasn't abnormal for them to hear those types of noises coming from that mobile home. A roommate came to the house about 2 hours later, leading deputies to finding that violent scene.
Adult female laying in the backyard of the house in her own puddle of blood. A bloody handprint that we believe is hers as she was fighting for her life, trying to escape the violence that was occurring inside this mobile home. This gruesome scene got even worse when the deputies made entry into the residence and found a small child brutally murdered.
Now, the sheriff says this is all extremely preliminary and they're still assessing the scene. But he says they believe that after Kuzchak beat the mother and child to death, he fled on foot, running through the strawberry fields and also through a wooded area. The sheriff tells us the child involved is only about 4 or 5 years old.
He is dangerous. He has killed somebody who he was romantically involved with. He has killed his own child.
Now, the sheriff is asking Kuzchak to just turn himself in, but he's asking also people in this area to be wary because, like you heard him say, this is a dangerous person.
Miranda, this is disturbing on a whole lot of levels here. In his news conference within the last hour, the sheriff mentioned a roommate. What do we know about the other people who live in that home?
Dave, I did ask the sheriff how many people live in the mobile home. He says they're still processing that, still doing interviews, but he says he could tell us that at least 2 families live in the mobile home and that this mother, child, and Kuzchak moved here about 7 months ago from Guatemala. In Dover, Miranda Parnell, 10 Tampa Bay.
Here is the press conference with all the details the police currently have to share with the public. Again, if you're in the area near Sumner Road, police are asking that you stay extra vigilant as they hunt this vicious killer. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. And here is the press conference.
That has transpired when our suspect brutally murdered an innocent woman and a young child. About 5:30 this evening, we receive a 911 call when a roommate who also lives in the mobile home down the road here came home and found our victims. Deputies arrived on scene and immediately discovered that it was an extremely gruesome scene. gruesome scene. An adult female laying in the backyard of the house in her own puddle of blood. A bloody handprint that we believe is hers as she was fighting for her life, trying to escape the violence that was occurring inside this mobile home. This gruesome scene got even worse when the deputies made entry into the residence and found a small child brutally murdered. Brutally murdered. These two innocent victims were beaten to death by blunt force trauma. Around 3:40 this afternoon, as we're doing our neighborhood survey, we learned that the neighbor did hear the scream, a female scream. They didn't contact law enforcement because they say that this wasn't something out of the ordinary. We believe that our suspect fled on foot. Yes, he is dangerous. He has killed somebody who he was romantically involved with. He has killed his own child. Where are we at now? State Attorney Lopez is on scene. Our search warrant has been approved. We are now just starting to piece everything together of what has transpired inside and outside of this mobile home. As you can see, we have a large contingency of law enforcement in the area. Our helicopter, our aviation unit is out here, our canine unit, and several, I mean numerous deputies and detectives as we continue to canvass this area. Our suspect is Angel Kuschak, an Hispanic male, 31 years of age. Angel, if you're listening, hear me loud and clear. Turn yourself in. Do yourself and this community a favor and turn yourself in, and turn yourself in now, because I promise you, there is nowhere where you can hide that we won't find you. Again, extremely preliminary, but I'll be more than glad to share any information that I have. Is there anything that I can answer at this point?
What do we know about the suspect? Can you talk to us about what we know about him?
Not a lot. We have learned that the three of them have recently moved here as recent as 7 months ago from Guatemala. We don't know or have a bunch of details. Again, we just recently discovered his date of birth. We hope to gain more information now that we've made entry into the residence.
Do we know how old the child is? Like an age?
We think, and again, don't hold me to it, maybe 4 or 5 years of age.
Can you release,
A small female child.
can you release details on like what object he might have used?
Again, too soon. It's not that I would withhold it. We just don't know it yet. Again, the search warrant has just been approved. We have just made entry into the residence. So we have a large crime scene that we now have to process a lot of evidence and try to learn that information. That's part of what we're trying to piece together here, and we'll be here throughout the night doing.
Sheriff, any idea on how many people live in the house? I know you said an additional roommate called 911.
Great question. We don't. We know that there's 2 families that live there at least. We don't know more than that right now. Again, as we're piecing this together, we have detectives interviewing the different roommates, trying to figure out exactly who lives here. We're still trying to positively identify the relationship and the family dynamic that we have here.
Did they have gunshot injuries or was it blunt force trauma?
No, this was a brutal murder, blunt force trauma. This individual killed these 2 poor, helpless, innocent victims by blunt force trauma.
You mentioned a handprint. Can you talk about where that was and also the age of the woman?
Yeah, the handprint was on the side of the mobile home. It looked like she was trying to escape the violence that was occurring inside that at the hands of our suspect, and trying to escape with her life out of the residence, and she had touched the side of the mobile home or the side of the mobile home as she was escaping. We don't have her date of birth yet. Again, not intentionally not not releasing information. We don't have her positively ID'd. I'd be irresponsible if I tried to make any type of guesstimate at this time.
Do we know if he got away in a car or on foot?
You'll have to try it one more time.
Do you know if he escaped the scene in a car or on foot?
Yeah, through our investigation so far, well, we have confirmed that he fled on foot through the strawberry fields and into the wooded area here in the area. We believe he's still in the area, and hence why you see such a large contingency of law enforcement, as this search will continue until we're able to put this suspect behind bars where he'll never have the opportunity to harm another human being. Yes, and we've made contact with residents here to make sure that they know, listen, don't answer the door for anybody and stay inside. So we're doing that, and with your help, thank you to each and every one of you. Continue to put information out. Yes, this person is dangerous. We're going to do our best to try to get him off the streets as quickly and expeditiously as we can. Again, don't know that. Don't know their immigration status. We just recently learned his date of birth as I was walking up here. Once we identify everyone, we'll certainly work with our federal partners and determine if they're lawfully here, how they entered the country, and those type of factors and circumstances leading up here till tonight.
When do you expect residents to be able to return to their homes?
I'm sorry, you have to.
When can residents go back to their homes?
You can return to your homes now. They can return to their homes. We'll escort them to the home. We will absolutely search their home to make sure it's safe for them and their loved ones to be inside the home. But yes, we haven't asked anyone to leave the neighborhood or leave the area. We'll be out here throughout the night.
Can you talk about the radius in terms of the search? How long has he been on the run? What's the span of the search?
We believe that this homicide might have occurred when the screams happened around 3:40. We got the 911 call around 5:30. We know just the timeline alone that he got a good head start on us. But again, that's nothing we can't overcome through technology, aviation, and a lot of hard work and determination. And that's why all of us will be out here throughout the night.
The woman and the child, is it a mother and her child? You mentioned that the suspect is going to be involved in the home. What is the relationship?
We believe so. We believe that our suspect was romantically involved with the adult female that we've located, and that this small child was his child. Again, I can't say with 100% confidence, but that's what we believe at this point.
Sheriff, I know that you said that the person said they didn't call 911 because they heard noises like that coming from that home before. Have you all responded to that residence in the past?
We have not. We have no history of calls for service here at this residence.
Sheriff, how are the deputies doing with such a horrific scene?
Yeah, as you can imagine, when our deputies, the men and women, have to respond to calls for service, and they have to endure a gruesome scene like this, it takes a toll on them. That toll becomes 100 times worse when there's a child involved.
Any other questions? Sheriff, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.